Yo, what is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to kind of a different video. Today I'm going to be making my first ever Grand Theft Auto 6 video because it's some things that I really want to see in the next game's online mode, and you could even say story mode to an extent. Kind of just a little bit of a top 5 things I want to see with a little bit of an explanation on why. So I'm going to keep this intro short. Let's get into it. So Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be releasing later this year. This is something that we know. Mini games are being delayed, such as Battlefield 6 is being delayed. I wouldn't even doubt if Call of Duty either releases earlier or a month later than, the rest of the competition. This game is going to shatter records in its base campaign alone. Now, I have spent more time in GTA Online over the years than I did single player. Now, I have been recently went back and beat the campaign again for the second total time. I've been beaten half of it and then restarted and then again, but I finally fully finished the entire game outside of a few small side quests. And as I played it, I hopped between single player, and online to compare the two and get kind of a general list of some stuff I really want to see in the game. Starting off, I want to talk about first-person mode. So first-person is something that has to be in the game. Now, we know it was in Red Dead 2, so I would assume it's going to be in the game at launch. However, I really want to see an updated version of this, especially for vehicles and gunfighting. So, overall, first-person Grand Theft Auto, when you're just walking or running or doing general stuff, it's not that bad. However, it kind of feels like you're zoomed in for a little too much of it, in my opinion, especially when it comes to driving. I feel like the steering wheel's right here, and I can't see, the dashboard. I can't see that far away. I hope they can either update that to make it a little zoomed out, or give us a field of view slider that I can use to my heart's content. I think personally, games that have the best first-person driving, like visually, is going to be Forza Horizon. I hope they can kind of take some cues of that, because you're not super zoomed in. You can adjust it to be a little more zoomed out to where you can see a little bit more, and it just feels more authentic and realistic per se. We do know that they're going for a little more, from what I've seen from gameplay leaks and what they've said, a little more realistic based, especially with the driving mechanics, the engine, also just how the game genuinely looks and hopefully looks in first person. I don't know. I really hope that we can see that feature come into the game, because it's kind of going to be just a general quality of life feature, especially for online mode, playing with friends. I remember sitting in the car with my buddies on PS4 when it first came out. You would just look over at your buddy, he's just sitting there flipping you off or pointing a gun in your face. I love that. Playing heist and seeing that was so much fun. Love that. I hope we can see an updated version of that come into the game with the online mode, or even just in the campaign. I think it's kind of a quality of life feature. But following that, the next thing I want to see is actual mirrors in the game. Now, I'm not talking when you're walking into your clothes store or your wardrobe where you can see your character. That's fine. I'm talking in vehicles, actual working mirrors. Now, in the reveal trailer that came out last year, God, it's been 2 years. I need this game. But in that trailer, you can actually see mirrors, and they look to be relatively correct, so maybe you actually can see actually out of your rear view. I think that'd be genius. It makes driving in first person so unfun. That and that FOV, the field of view, just makes it a nightmare to drive around in Los Santos, or even hell in Red Dead, which I haven't beaten Red Dead, so some of these things might actually be in Red Dead 2. I don't know. I haven't played the game that much. I'm more of a GTA guy, but I do own it. I'm playing the campaign right now, seeing how that is. And maybe some of these features are in there. I'm not 100% sure, but I would love to see mirrors in vehicles that work, whether it's cars, bikes, boats. It just makes immersing yourself more, especially if we're going to have this roleplay server stuff in the game. That'd be kind of nice. Now, with the top 3, I'm going to throw an honorable mention in here really quickly. Something that I don't want to see in the game is too heavy of RP elements for online, because it's kind of going to get into some of the new points that I have, especially towards the end of this. I don't want to see any roleplay moments in the online outside of maybe roles from Red Dead 2. I would love to see that come back into the game, but I also want to see it where I can create my character's own path and not feel dictated by what Rockstar has set up. I really enjoy that in Red Dead Online, but I really love how GTA Online is now, especially in terms of I can do whatever the heck I want. I love that. I want to be a CEO, I can do it. I want to go be a biker guy, I can do it. I want to go fly planes, deliver cargo, I can do it. Now, obviously, there needs to be more structure in the game. Hopefully that's a thing, because honestly right now I think GTA Online needs a role system, which I think they kind of have with that career tab, which I think is genius. I think if that's in the game at launch, we'll be fine. But coming in at my third one, I have all my notes on my phone. No more futuristic vehicles, at least at launch in the first few years. Personally, I think GTA Online kind of lost a lot of interest for me around 2018. 2017 wasn't awful. 17 brought in gun running, the Doomsday Heist, and all that stuff. I think adding the original Oppressor was a mistake, personally, in the online mode. Hopefully we don't see that come back. I think that's a mistake, shouldn't be there. That then followed into the Smuggler's Run DLC, which didn't have really many futuristic car vehicles that I can remember. But then when you get to like the Doomsday Heist with the Deluxo and flying cars, seeing submarine cars, like it's cool, but it's not Grand Theft Auto. I don't want that in the game. And so hopefully we don't see that in the game, at least at launch. Now, I wouldn't mind, gonna sound crazy, I don't care about the armored vehicles. Don't care about those. I don't care about vehicles that have like the Night Shark, the guns built in. Do not care. It's things like the flying cars, flying bikes, laser guns, and a few of the other, like Tron bike. It's neat, just shouldn't be in the game. Now, I wouldn't mind seeing those in like if the game has user-generated content, maybe like only in death matches you can use it. Okay, I can live with that, just not in free roam. I don't want to see it in it. Now, granted, I mostly play the game solo. I actually don't remember a time I haven't played GTA Online solo in the last almost 2 years. I would say the last time I didn't was when the Contract DLC came out with Franklin, and doing those missions was probably the last time I played the game with a friend. Mostly because we've been waiting, me and my buddies have so much time in this game waiting on GTA 6. I think that's why he hasn't played it much. But honestly, I kind of took a break. Just now I'm getting back into it because of those futuristic things. You know, I just think they're pointless, shouldn't be in the game. Let's move on. The next thing is going to be something that I think was actually leaked in the game from the 2022 leaks, I think is when that happened. And that is going to be swappable shoulders from Red Dead Online or The Division. I think when you're in a gunfight, you should be able to move your shoulder in third person from one to the other. I think that was genius in the game. Should come back, makes gunfights more elaborate, makes it more kind of dynamic. Like, I can play it more tactfully. I can, I think for especially heists, it's going to be a lot better. Because getting stuck in one side of your shoulder where you can't see around a vehicle, or you have to expose your whole body, is kind of rough. I think being able to switch the rifle from one shoulder or the other, or pistol aiming, should be in the game. Keep that super simple. Bring it from Red Dead. That's all we want. My last point that I'm going to have is kind of a simple one. And we know that in the game there's going to be a lot of custom or enterable buildings, right? We know that I think they leaked like 90 plus entries, like places can be entered that aren't like your generic stores, gun stores, stuff like that. Actual physical interiors. That needs to be online. But one thing I would love to see is Rockstar has an AI like a procedurally generated patent thing that they patented, I think 2020, 2019, somewhere in there, to use for creating interiors. And I think you can actually see some of this in the game. I think for online especially, not as much single player, this is more online. Those first 4, you could say, are single player content. I'm going to say this last thing is definitely an online specific option. Having the ability to pick between a few different interiors for apartments, stilt homes, anything like that that's in the game is a must. I think one of the biggest downfalls for me in GTA Online is I don't spend any time in my apartment because there's no reason for me to. But I think I don't spend a lot of time in my apartments, like I was saying, in GTA Online because they're all the same. Only in 2015, at the end, they added customizable apartments for the luxury stuff, like the Eclipse Towers. You can pick between a few different interior options, and it kind of changes it around. I think if you're gonna have an AI system or procedurally generated system, every apartment should have at least 2 different interiors. That way, you can pick what you want. Now, ultimately, I think it'd be cool if you could move stuff around in your apartment, but that's asking for a shit ton of stuff that I don't think they can physically do. I don't know. Again, I haven't played much Red Dead. I don't know if that's a thing in Red Dead Online with your camp system. I don't know. But I think the ability to move stuff around, like for my office, for example, like move that shelf to where this wall, move my desk a little bit over, I think that would be like the next tier. I don't expect that. Be cool, especially if the game is going to have user-generated content in a role-play like setting, like RP, like when they bought, you know, the creators of 5M. That'd be kind of cool, but I don't expect it, right? I don't expect to have stuff like that, but as a wish list, I think having a few different apartment interiors is an absolute must. Having the ability to create your own character's lifestyle, like, oh, I won't envision my character as, you know, I'm a kind of in the country. I have a country-ish interior, you know, with different paint, more like, I don't know how to word it, like more of a country aesthetic per se. But that is my genuine 5 things I want to see in the next game, whether they're returning features or new features. Ultimately, if I could boil this list down to 3, it'd be the first-person improvements of the vehicles and stuff, the mirrors, and no futuristic vehicles. I can survive without swappable shoulders, and I can survive without customizable interiors. I can't survive with how bad first-person is right now in these games. Like, call me crazy, I just don't get immersed in that first-person mode. I don't, like I did in games like Cyberpunk, or even, like, obviously like, games like Call of Duty have great first-person mechanics. I don't get immersed in GTA like I did in Cyberpunk, Starfield, Skyrim. What's another first-person game that I got really immersed? Let me look. I don't know, but I just can't get immersed. I think games like this, and even Far Cry, have the same problem where you're just too zoomed in. Now, granted, I'm talking about consoles. I don't play this game on PC. I don't know if that's a setting on PC. If it is, let me know down in the comments. I have no idea. But I would love to see these 5 features return in the game. Let me know if you guys would also like to see some of these features return. I think personally they should be added into the game. Also, like I said at the beginning of the video, this isn't my normal content. I'm going to be kind of dabbling in Grand Theft Auto up until its release, and even into its release. If you watched my Fang 82 video on Black Ops 6, we're just kind of dabbling in some other stuff. I want to make this channel more of a general channel of just playing games, not just stick with one. Obviously, I'll main Call of Duty because it's my passion, but gonna play some other things here and there. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about these down in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.